Hello, sports fans and baseball fans. It's me, Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke, and guess what? Mismatch Monday is back, and it's bigger than life. And today, the matchup will be the 1984 Chicago Cubs going up against the 2022 Colorado Rockies. The Cubs won the NL East in 1984, and they were 96-65. The Rockies finished fifth in the NL West in 2022, and they were 68-94. So we're going to do our best here to do this, to get this game going. As you can see, I am showing the cards. So I'm going to make an effort to try to show the cards instead of the board, instead of the score sheet. I was told that people would rather see the cards, or at least there's one person out there that would rather see the cards. So we're going to try that way and see how you guys like it. Let me know in the comments whether you prefer this or whether you'd rather see the board and not necessarily the cards. It's almost logistically impossible for me to get the cards in the viewing range and the dice and everything. So that isn't going to happen. So this game, you're just going to see the cards. And hopefully a lot of you like that. Another disclaimer, there will be no ballpark effects here because I have the original 1984 set for the Cubs. And with that having been said, they don't have ballpark singles and ballpark homers. So we're going to read right off the card what the reading is. Straight off the card, whatever the card says. So with all of that in play, we will start the game. The 84 Cubs lineup will be Bob Dernier leading off and playing center field. Thad Bosley will bat second and play left field. Ryne Sandberg bats third, and he's at second base. Leon Durham is the cleanup hitter at first base. The fifth hitter will be Ron Cey at third base. The sixth hitter will be Gary the Sarge Matthews at DH, and we are using the DH today. Keith Moreland will bat seventh and play right field. Jody Davis bats eighth and plays catcher, and Larry Boa brings up the rear at shortstop. And they will be going, that lineup will be going against Kyle Freeland of the Rockies. So with all of that having been said, we're going to get underway. I'm going to roll the dice off to the side here because rolling it through the, through the board could knock over the cards, and we could have all kinds of issues that we don't want. So you're just going to have to trust me on what I'm rolling. And again, see, that's part of the issue with showing the cards. There's only so much I can show in the, in the viewing frame. So Bob Dernier is the first hitter, and he rolls a 4-6, and 4-6 is going to be a walk. So Bob Dernier leads off with a walk. He is a stealing double-A, I believe. And so we will, he is, yes, a stealing double-A. So he is going to try to steal. And the roll on that is a 6, and so he definitely steals second base. That brings up Thad Bosley as the next hitter. And also, this is going to extend the video, so it'll be a little longer because I'm doing this. But again, this is what people, I guess, want to see. So Thad Bosley up, and he gets a 1-8, and 1-8 against Freeland, who is a lefty, is going to be a strikeout. So Thad Bosley with the strikes out, and Freeland gets the strikeout of Bosley. That brings up Ryne Sandberg. We will put his card right there for all to see. And that is a 4-5, Sandberg being a right-handed hitter, and that's going to be a fly ball to right field. And so the leadoff single and stolen base by Dernier might go to waste here as we bring up Leon Durham, the cleanup hitter with a man at second and 2 down. And he gets a 3-5, and that's going to be a walk. So there are 2 runners on. Freeland has now walked 2 hitters. One of them stole a base on him. And that brings up Ron Say, the Penguin, former Dodger. And he gets a 4-10. And that is going to be a pop out to shortstop. So the Cubs get no runs and no hits. And we go to the bottom of the first inning. And so now we're going to reverse everything. We're going to have Blackmon leading off. And we will go over the Rockies lineup in a minute. And we will get Steve Trout out there. He is the pitcher for the Cubs today. And let's make sure we get him in the frame completely. So the lineup for the Rockies will be Charlie Blackmon leading off and being the DH. Batting second will be Jose Iglesias at shortstop. C.J. Cron is the third hitter and the first baseman. Batting in the cleanup spot is Ryan McMahon, who will play third base today. Bryant is going to be the fifth hitter and playing left field. Brendan Rodgers will play at second base and be the sixth hitter. Batting seventh is Grichuk, and he is going to play center field today. Playing right field will be Connor Joe, the eighth hitter, and Brian Servin, the catcher, will bat in the ninth spot. So with that, and like I said, they will all be facing Steve Trout. So the first hitter is Blackmon, as you can see, and he gets a 6-4, and 6-4 is going to be a ground ball to the third baseman for the Cubs, and he is a 4-E13. That's Ron Say. That's a 17 though, so that might be an out. And it is. So he grounds out 5-3, Blackmon does. Which brings up Jose Iglesias. And he's going to get a 3-2 against Trout, who's a lefty, and that's going to be a ground ball to second base. So he grounds out 4-3. And there's 2 down quickly for the Rockies. C.J. Cron is the batter. And he gets a 1-7, and that will be a fly ball to center. So they go quickly, 1, 2, 3, no runs for the Rockies. We go to the second inning. And coming up for the Cubs will be Matthews, Moreland, and Davis. And we will go get Freeland again, who pitched out of a little bit of trouble in the first inning. And we'll see what he can do here. So the Sarge, Gary Matthews, is up. And that is going to be a 1-7, and that is a strikeout. Freeland with his second strikeout. bringing up Keith Moreland. That is a 5-6, and that is going to be a ground ball to the third baseman. And Jody Davis is up. I will do my best to try to remember to say what the role is so that you can see it on the card, which is the entire purpose of having the cards showing. So Jody Davis gets a 2-7, and that is going to be a double. So Jody Davis gets the first hit off of Freeland that Freeland allows after 2 were down quickly. And you got the 9th hitter, Larry Boa. And he gets a 1-7, and that's going to be a fly ball to left field. So they get no runs, but they do get a hit, their first hit of the game. But the Cubs score no runs. And the Cubs will be back at the top of the lineup when they go back to hitting. But right now we got to put the Rockies lineup out there and the pitcher for the Cubs, which is Trout. And so, yeah, I'm going to try to keep this, you know. Anyway, Ryan McMahon is the batter. He gets a 4-7, and that is going to be a walk. So Trout allowing a walk. And the next hitter is Chris Bryant. And that is a 5-7. And against the righty, that's a fly ball center field. One down, and Brendan Rodgers. And he gets a 2-5, which is a single double asterisk, and it's going to put runners at the corners. And that's the first hit that I think Trout has allowed, and so Trout is in a little bit of trouble here. And Randall Grichuk is up. That is a 4-4, and that is going to be a ground ball to the second baseman. The second baseman for the Cubs is Ryan Sandberg. He's a 1E6. That is a roll of 14, so I'm going to guess that's an out and maybe even a double play. 14 and 1 is a ground ball double play, and they're out of the inning. So they get they get a hit, but they don't get any runs. We're going to the top of the third in a scoreless game, surprisingly, between the 22 Colorado Rockies and the 1984 Chicago Cubs. So as I mentioned, we will be at the top of the lineup for the Cubs. And Freeland will go back out to pitch against the top of that lineup. That is a 1-7, and that's going to be a walk. Dernier again works his way on with a walk. And again, he will try to steal. And that is a 20. He's gunned out. That brings up Thad Bosley. So now Thad Bosley batting with nobody on. And that is a 6-10. And that is going to be a fly ball center field. Again, might have been a ballpark single, but we can't really use that because there's no ballpark singles on the 84, the original 84 cards. And Sandberg is the batter. Ryan Sandberg with 2 down. And he gets a 5-9, and that is going to be a ground ball to the shortstop. The shortstop for the Rockies is a 3E12, and the roll on the dice is a 15, so he'll probably be out. And he is. So they get no hits and no runs there. And we go to the bottom of the third with the Rockies now batting. Send Steve Trout back out there. And the hitter for the Rockies will be Connor Joe. Connor Joe today playing right field. And he gets a 3-8, and that's going to be a strike. Wait, let's see. No, fly ball center field. A little self-conscious here because now you can see the cards. So if I misread it or I get the wrong reading or whatever, you'll know. So anyway, Brian Servin is now the batter. He is the catcher today. And he gets a 5-9. And that's going to be a line out to second base. So there's 2 down quickly, and we're back to the top of the lineup with Charlie Blackmon, the DH for Colorado. And he gets a 2-8 against the lefty, and that's going to be a single. So Charlie Blackmon is aboard. That is a hit allowed by Trout. Only the second hit that he's allowed. Both pitchers pitching quite well here, surprisingly, especially in Freeland's case. I mean, not so much in Trout's case. But the batter is Jose Iglesias. And he gets a 5-10. And that's going to be a ground ball to the shortstop. The shortstop for the Cubs is a 3E22. That is a 2, so that might be a base hit. Let's see. Yeah, that's a single. That's a single 1 asterisk, so runners are at first and second. And Trout has given up his 3rd hit, and he is in trouble of surrendering a run to the Rockies here. Even though there are 2 outs, there's 2 on, and C.J. Cron is the batter. And he gets a 4-7, and 4-7 is going to be a strikeout against a righty. So they get no runs, but they do get 2 hits, and we have a scoreless game still going to the top of the 4th inning. with Leon Durham leading off for the Cubs. And, of course, Freeland going back out there. He's pitching quite well, as I mentioned. So Leon Durham up, and he gets a 5-6. And that is going to be a ground ball to third. Stepping to the plate now is Ron Say, the third baseman. He gets a 4-8. 4-8 is going to be that's going to be a double. So the Penguin ripping a double. And Freeland giving up his second hit. These pitchers have not been giving out hits, that's for sure. So with one down and a man at second, you got the Sarge, Gary Matthews up. Not going to be sacrificing with the Sarge. That is a 6-6, and that's going to be a ground ball shortstop, and that's 2 outs. With nobody advancing anywhere, and that leaves it all up to Keith Moreland, the right fielder today for the 84 Cubs. And he gets a 6-11, and 6-11 is going to be a single to right field. The question is, do we send the runner with a +2 on his running? And we have to see who that is. That is Say, though. So I don't think we're going to be sending Say, even with adding 2 to his running rating. Now, it would be 1-13. We're going to hold up, and we're going to assume that Jody Davis can get the job done with runners at the corners. So here's Jody Davis, and he gets a 5'9" right-handed batter, and he hits it to the shortstop. The shortstop for them is a 3E12. That is an 11. So let's see what that comes up to. That is going to be on the E rating. 5 on an E11 is going to be a ground ball out. And that's it. That's the end of the inning. Jody Davis does not come through. Even though the Cubs did get 2 hits, they still walk away with no runs, and we go into the bottom of the 4th. In a scoreless game still, yet. Unbelievable as it may be. And Ryan McMahon will be the batter for the Rockies. Coming up this inning will be McMahon, Bryant, and Rogers to face Steve Trout in this scoreless game, this unbelievably scoreless game between a division winner and a 94-loss team. So you can see we've got McMahon up at the plate. And he gets a 2-6, and that is going to be a walk. So he's aboard. Another walk. Yet another walk for Trout. Actually, it's only his second one. So a man aboard, and Chris Bryant, the batter. 2-8 for Chris Bryant against a lefty. That is going to be a single-double asterisk. So the Rockies have a really good chance to score here. Trout giving up his 4th hit of the game. Now has runners at the corners with nobody out. And Brendan Rodgers is the batter. And he gets a 5-4 right-handed batter. That's a ground ball, second base X. Second base for the Cubs is, of course, Ryan Sandberg. That is a 4. So 4 and a 1 is a ground ball double play, but a run is going to score. So 4-6-3 double play, but run comes in the form of Ryan McMahon. And Grichuk is the batter. So the Cubs are behind here, surprisingly. And he gets a 2-11 against a lefty, and that will be a home run. Randall Grichuk goes deep and gives the Rockies their second run. Fifth hit allowed by Trout, and the second run. And Connor Joe is now up. So the Rockies coming to life here. The Cubs still need to do that. That's a 4-4 against a righty. It's a ground ball to second. He is a 1. That is a 13. Let's see. That is an out. But the Rockies get 2 runs on 2 hits. 2 hits and a walk. And they lead at 2-0 as we go to the top of the 5th. This would be embarrassing for the 84 Cubs, I think, to lose this game. You're going to have the 9th hitter, Boa, coming up for the leading off for the Cubs. And, of course, send Freeland back out there. Freeland pitching expertly so far. And Larry Boa up. And he gets a 5-7, and he would be batting right. So that's going to be a ground ball, second base X, and the second baseman for the Rockies is a 1E12. Is he? Yeah, he's a 1E12 as well. So 15, that's probably an out, I would think. And it is. So he's out 4-3. Which brings up Bob Dernier. Bob Dernier coming up on this Mismatch Monday. The 84 Cubs taking on the 22 Rockies. And that is a 2-5. And 2-5 is going to be a ground ball to the shortstop. And the batter is going to be Thad Bosley. Thaddeus Bosley. I don't know if that's really his full first name. And he gets a 1-8, and that's going to be a strikeout. And Freeland with the 3rd strikeout. Send Trout back out there to face Brian Serven, the 9th hitter and catcher for the Rockies. And hold on, let's see, we got no runs there. We got, yeah. And he gets a 1-6 against the lefty, and that's a ground ball to the 3rd baseman, 1 away. Oh, wait a minute. Ground ball to the shortstop. Charlie Blackmon up. That is a 5-5 against the lefty, and that is a single. So Charlie Blackmon, 2 for 3 today. Hit allowed by Trout, who has all of a sudden started to fall apart here a little bit. And Jose Iglesias is up. Still, it's a reachable game, especially for the 84 Cubs. It's 2-0 Rockies. And 5-7 is going to be a fly ball to center field. 2 out. And the batter is C.J. Cron, who today is 0 for 2 with a strikeout on the day. And he gets a 6-9, and 6-9 will be a single. So he's aboard. Another hit given up by Trout. That's hit number 7 on the day if you're keeping track at home. So a man aboard with 2 out. Actually, it's 2 men on. I've got 2 men on. Okay, so because, yeah, Blackmon singled. All right. So there's runners at first and second with 2 down, and Ryan McMahon is the batter. And he gets a 5-7, and that is going to be batting left, and he is striking out. So Trout strikes out his first batter of the game and probably saves him from being lifted from the game. The Rockies get no runs, but they do get 2 hits. They've gotten 2 hits in the last 3 consecutive innings, but they've only scored in 1 of those, and they still maintain their 2-0 lead. With Ryan Sandberg coming up. In fact, the Cubs lineup coming up is going to be Sandberg, Durham, and Say. If they're going to score, it's going to be now, because this is a good lineup that should be able to score on Kyle Freeland. The fact that he's pitching a shutout is amazing. Nothing short of amazing, I would say. So Ryan Sandberg up, and he gets a 1-9 against a lefty, and that's going to be a single. Sandberg is aboard. Freeland giving up his 3rd hit, just his 3rd hit for Freeland, Kyle Freeland. Unbelievable. Now, he is a stealing A, Ryan Sandberg is. He's going to try that because they are not scoring runs here. And the roll's an 18, or no, a 16. 16, he's probably going to be out. Servin has a, well, Servin has a +2 arm, so maybe not. Let's take a look. Let's take a look-see. So stealing second, a B is, or an A is a 1 to 15, +2 is 17, but a -1 for the watch is a 16. He barely makes it in. And they needed that. Surprisingly, they needed to have that happen. So Leon Durham is now the hitter with a man at second and no outs, and that's a 5-9 for a lefty. And that's going to be a ground ball to the shortstop. The shortstop for the Rockies is a 3-12. That is a 10. So let's see what that gets him. That's going to be on the error rating, so we're going to look at the E10 rating, and a 7. And that's going to be a ground ball. So he's out. One down with a runner at second base. And Ron Say up. And he gets a 410. 410 for a righty. That's a pop out to short. And Matthews is the batter. It's all up to Gary Matthews here. He has to try to get this run home. And he gets a 1-2. And a 1-2 against a lefty is a foul out plus injury. We're going to ignore injuries because this is just a one-off game. So that is a foul out to the catcher. And so they get no runs. They did get one hit, but no runs come across. And we're going to the bottom of the sixth. The Rockies will have Bryant, Rogers, and let's see. Bryant, Rogers, and Grichuk coming up. So Trout pitched a lot of innings in 1984. He pitched 205 innings. He is a starter sixth, though, but we're going to definitely send him out there for the sixth. And Chris Bryant, the batter. And he gets a 2-9, and that's going to be a ground ball to first base. Which brings up Brendan Rodgers. And he gets a 1-9. That's going to be a ground ball to second base. Oh, wait. And Grichuk is a batter. And he gets a 2-9, and a 2-9 is going to be a double. Grichuk having himself a day. He's got a home run and now a double to add to it off of Trout, who's given up now 8 hits. He's bending. Trout is bending, but not really breaking. I mean, he had that one bad inning, but it's still only down 2-0, and Connor Joe, the batter. And he gets a 4-7, and a 4-7 against a righty is a strikeout. So Trout with the K, and he gets out of that inning. They got no runs but 1 hit, and they still maintain their 2-0 lead. Coming up for the Cubs will be Moreland, Davis, and Boa. And of course, Freeland's going to go out there. I mean, Freeland is pitching out of his mind today. He was arguably the ace of their staff, but still. Moreland gets a 5-7. And that's going to be a ground ball second base. Their second baseman is a 1E12. That is a 20. That's going to be an out. Next guy is Jody Davis. Jody Davis today has a double. He's 1 for 2. And he gets a 112 against a lefty. That's a double. So he hits another double. And Freeland giving up his 4th hit. So the Cubs are threatening again. There's only 1 out. And Larry Boa up. He gets a 6-8, and he would be batting right. So that is a single double asterisk and knocks in the first run for the Cubs. Larry Boa coming through. Bob Dernier is the batter. And he gets a 2-2, which is a fly ball center field. So there's 2 down. And Thad Bosley is the batter. And he gets a 4-12. He is a left-handed batter, and that's going to be a walk. Of course, Thad Bosley probably wasn't the best choice to bat here, but the Cubs are kind of thin in outfielders. He was probably exclusively playing against righties, but he does work his way on here. And he's a stealing B, but they're going to, you know what? They're going to try it. They're going to try it even with a B. That's a 2, so he makes it easily. So he does come through, even though he doesn't usually hit lefties very well. He is now at second base with 2 down and Ryan Sandberg, the batter. And he gets a 5-8. He's a righty. That is going to be a fly ball left field. So the Cubs, the Cubs get, what do they get? 2 hits and 1 run. So now it's 2-1. Going to the bottom of the 7th. Brian Serven will be the batter. He is the catcher for the Rockies. He's 0 for 2 today. And the Cubs will bring in a reliever. So Trout is going to stop after Trout is going to stop after 6 innings. And they will bring in a relief pitcher. And they don't have a lot of really good relief here. Also, this is the 84 set, and it's the original 84 set with no extras, so I don't have any of the extra players, so I am kind of hamstrung. But they will bring in Lee Smith, their closer. Even though this is only the 7th inning, it seems appropriate that they would go to the closer to try to stop any other runs from scoring for the Rockies. And Serven batting against him, and he gets a 1-3 against a righty. That is going to be a ground ball, second base, 1 away. Charlie Blackmon is now up. Back to the top of the order for the Rockies. He gets a 2-8, and that is going to be a single. So he is having himself a day. He is 3 for 4 today, Charlie Blackmon is. He is aboard. And Jose Iglesias is the hitter. He gets 2-10 against a righty. That is going to be a single. Two runners aboard with only 1 out. The Rockies could break it open here with C.J. Cron, the batter. And he gets a 1-6, and that is going to be a single. Single, he ekes it out. Single 1-4, and he got a 4 on the 20-sided die. So the bases are now loaded with only 1 out. Lee Smith in trouble. They are going off on the closer. He isn't closing anything. Ryan McMahon gets a 3-3. And that's going to be a single, and it's going to score a run. They're not going to press the issue. They're just going to let the run score and keep the merry-go-round going. Lee Smith, amazingly, is just getting his ass handed to him right here. And Chris Bryant is the batter. And he gets a 2-11 against a righty. That is going to be a ground ball shortstop double play. And that is going to be the inning because Servin got out to lead off the inning. So the lucky double play comes into effect for the Cubs, but they do get 4 hits and 1 run. And now they lead it 3-1. They have their 2-run lead back. And, yeah, let's see here. We're going to the top of the 8th. The batters for the Cubs in the 8th will be Durham, Say, and Matthews. Again, not a bad lineup. And I think we're going to take Freeland out. I mean, I'm just thinking really it's time to take Freeland out, even though he has pitched masterfully. Excuse me. It is time for that to happen. Now, the Rockies, of course, as you might expect, don't have much of a bullpen. Their relievers aren't very good, except for Daniel Bard, who had a 179 earned run average and was 6-4. So they're going to bring in Daniel Bard, at least for this inning. So he goes 7 innings, does Freeland. He allows 5 hits and only 1 run. Again, unbelievable. And Leon Durham will now have to face Daniel Bard. And he gets a 2-4 against a righty, and that's going to be a fly ball right. One down. And Ron Say is the batter. He gets a 110, and a 110 against a righty is going to be a single. So Ron Say does get a board. He gets a hit off of Bard, which in itself is an accomplishment, as good as Bard was. Gary Matthews, the Sarge, steps in. And I don't know what happened to the white die. Let's see what happened to the white die. See, this is yeah, a little bit of an issue. All right, we got a replacement white die at least for right now until I find the other one. That is a 3-8 for Matthews against a righty, and that's going to be a walk. So he's aboard. And Bard is not pitching well either. Both closers are struggling here. Keith Moreland is the batter. And he gets a 1-8 against a righty, and that's going to be a home run. 3-run home run. Let me make sure of that. Home run 1-15 on 1-8. Yeah, against a righty. Yes, indeed. So Keith Moreland gives the Cubs the lead that you were wondering if it was ever going to happen. And it does now. And Bard gets his butt handed to him in the biggest way. And yeah, 3 runs. It's now 4-3. Cubbies. And the Rockies are frankly shell-shocked because Freeland was not that good of a pitcher, and he pitched great. And then their closer comes in and gets jacked on. So anyway, Jody Davis is the batter now. And he gets a 5-7 for a righty. That's a strikeout. So that's 2 down. Bard striking a man out, which is exactly what he was brought on to do, but didn't do it till now, and allowed 3 runs in the meantime. Where Larry Boa is now the batter, and he gets a 2-5 against a righty, and that's a line out to shortstop. But the Cubs do strike for 3 runs. Or the Cubs strike for 3 runs on 2 hits and a walk, and now lead it by the score of 4-3. Brendan Rodgers will be the batter for the Rockies. It'll be Rodgers, Grichuk, and Joe coming up. And they're going to keep Lee Smith out there, maybe against their better judgment, but they are going to keep him out there. He is a 2-inning reliever, so he's not tired yet. And Brendan Rodgers is up, and he gets a 2-7 against a righty, and that's a fly ball left field. One down quickly, and Grandal Grichuk is the batter. And he gets a 3-5 against a righty, and that's going to be a single. Yeah. So Smith giving up his 5th hit. He's laboring here. Connor Joe is the batter. He gets a 3-11 against a righty, and that's going to be a ground ball first base C. That'll move the runner to second. And now Servin is the batter. Let's see if he can drive in a run. He gets a 4-8 righty. And that is going to be a single. It is a single, but it's a 1-base single. It was a 1-4, and he got a 3. So Smith is getting really hammered here. And Charlie Blackmon is the batter. And he gets a 2-7 against a righty, and that's going to be a ground ball shortstop. So Blackmon can't come through. He has 3 hits today, but he doesn't come through there. The Rockies get no run, or the Cubs get no, wait, what is it? The Rockies get no runs on 2 hits. And we're going to the top of the 9th here in a 4-3 game with the 84 Cubs just barely ahead of the 22 Rockies, which you would not expect. And Daniel Bard is going to come out. So they're going to go to somebody else, although that somebody else is going to be worse statistically. That's for sure. They're going to go to Lucas Gilbreth. He was 2-0 with a .419 earned run average. So Bard goes only 1. And he gives up 2 hits and 3 runs on a 3-run home run by Keith Moreland. And let's see who is up. The Cubs are up with Bob Dernier. Yes, indeed. So we're back to the top of the order, facing the new pitcher, Lucas Gilbreth. And he gets a 2-8 against the lefty, and that's going to be a single. Now, nothing is guaranteed in this game, so they're going to try to steal with Dernier, and he gets a 1. So, yeah, I think he made it. So now they got a runner at second with nobody out. Speed kills, as John Madden would say in his Madden games. And Thad Bosley is the batter. And he gets a 4-11 against the lefty. And that's going to be a fly ball left fielder. The left fielder for the Rockies is a 3-11. That is a 14. It's Chris Bryant. And that's going to be a fly ball C. So there's one down. Which brings up Ryne Sandberg. And he gets a 4-4. 4-4 for a righty, and that's going to be a catcher card X. The catcher for the Rockies is a 4E3. That is a 6. And that is going to be a wild pitch and a pop out. So the runner goes third, but there's 2 outs. And Durham is the batter. Really kind of proud of myself. I don't think I've made any mistakes so far. He gets a 1-5, and a 1-5 against a lefty. Are you kidding me? That is going to be a double. So that's going to be a double and knock in a run. Dernier scores. And another run comes in. And like I said, the Rockies don't have good pitching. That's the real the kicker for them, because really their lineup, the players that they had, the hitters, the position players weren't all that bad. But Ron Say is now up with a man at second and 2 out, and he gets a 5-8, and that is going to be a strikeout. So Gilbreth does strike out Say to end the threat, but the Cubs do get a run, another run, on 2 more hits. And they now lead it 5-3. So the Cubs are, or the Rockies are going to need at least 2 runs to keep the game going. Let me make this change here. And the Cubs are going to go to a different pitcher now. They're going to replace Lee Smith. And again, they didn't have great relief. So they're going to bring in Warren Brewster. He was 1-1 with a 311 earned run average in 57 innings pitched. Or, let me see. No, 64 innings pitched. He allowed 54 hits. So he seems a likely candidate to try to shut this out. So let's see. Brewster, we'll write him in. Smith actually pitched 2, I think. So he went 2. He allowed 6 hits and a run. And C.J. Cron is a batter. The lineup for the Rockies will be Crone, McMahon, and Bryant. Oh, wait a minute. No, it should be Iglesias. According to my score sheet, anyway, it should be Iglesias. So it's going to be Iglesias, Crone, and McMahon. He gets a 211 against a righty, and that is going to be a single. So Iglesias is aboard. Brewster allowing a hit. The relief pitching, the bullpen has been terrible this game for both teams. The starters pitched expertly, but all of a sudden, the bullpen is just giving things away. C.J. Crone is the batter, and he gets a 6-8, and 6-8 for a righty. That's going to be a fly to center, so there's one out. Next guy is McMahon, and he gets a 1-6, and a 1-6 against a righty is going to be, is it? Let's see, I got to roll the split die. I didn't do that. It is a home run. It's a 2-run home run. I think they tied the game. I just think they tied the game there on the McMahon home run. And they 3, 4, 5, 3. Yep, they did. They tied the game. And now if they could just put it away, that would be great. Chris Bryant is the batter. And he gets a 3-5 against a righty, and that's going to be a ground ball shortstop, 2 away. Which brings up Brendan Rodgers. And he gets a 5-7, and 5-7 versus a righty, that is a strikeout. So, you know, Brewster, he gets the side, but he doesn't get the side in time. They give up 2 runs on 1, 2 hits. And we are going to the 10th inning. I am not doing the ghosty. I don't even know if in 2022 they had the ghosty on second, but I'm not doing that because it's a stupid rule. And I am going to refrain from using it. So the lineup for the Cubs here in the 10th inning will be Matthews, Moreland, and Davis. And the Rockies are going to stick with Galbraith. I mean, they don't have much of a choice. I mean, this is a really terrible bullpen. So Galbraith is going out there to face Matthews, who gets a 3-7, and a 3-7 is a walk against a lefty. Again, say what you want. Say I should be taking him out, but if you looked at the bullpen, you would say maybe not. Keith Moreland is the hitter, and he gets a 5-2 righty. That's a strikeout. Gilbreth strikes out his second man. Jody Davis gets a 6-4. 6-4 for a righty. That's a ground ball short. Their shortstop is a 3-12. That is a 3. That's going to be bad. That's going to be very bad. That is a single 1 asterisk. So the runner goes to second. Gilbreth gives up another hit. There are 2 runners on with only 1 out. And the batter is now Larry Boa, although Larry Boa has knocked in some key runs. Or no, he didn't. I don't know. Anyway, he's up. 3-7 against a lefty, and he would be batting right, actually. So that's a ground ball. Well, it's against a lefty, is ground ball, shortstop, double play. So they do get the key double play that they needed. That gets them out of the inning. They gave up no runs, but 1 hit. We're going to the bottom of the 10th. I told you guys, I warned you, this makes it longer, much longer. We're on an hour 5 right now for the video. So Grichuk, I've got Grichuk as the batter here in the 10th. And Brewster again. Yeah, we're going to send out Brewster again. Don't have a choice because the rest of the Cubs relief pitchers are terrible. Grichuk is up, and he gets a 112 against a righty. That is going to be a ground ball or a fly ball right field, 1 away. Next guy is Connor Joe. He gets I got to re-roll the white die. He gets a 1-6, and against a righty, that is going to be a walk. So Connor Joe is aboard. Brewster with the walk. Servin, the catcher, is the hitter. He gets a 3-8 against a righty, and that is going to be a walk. So the Rockies have 2 guys on here. I guess they'll consider taking making the change and take Brewster out, but again, it won't be not going to be a good look. They're going to bring in Tim Stoddard. He was 10-6 with a 382 earned run average. Not too bad, but not great for a reliever. And the hitter for the Rockies will be back to the top of the order, and Charlie Blackmon, who today is 3 for 5. And he gets a 5-10 as a lefty. That is going to be a fly ball to center. The center fielder for the Cubs is a 1E6. That is an 8. And that's going to be a fly ball C, so there's 2 down. And that brings up Jose Iglesias. And he gets a 2-5, and that's going to be against a righty. That is going to be a double and score the winning run. Jose Iglesias knocks in the winning run for the Rockies. 1 run coming in, and so your final score is the Cubs 5. The 84 Cubs scored 5, and the 22 Rockies scored 2, 4, 5, 6, and win the game 6-5. So this is an upset. It's a rare upset for Mismatch Monday, but that's what happened. And that's going to be it for me, Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke, signing off.